famous, underappreciated rapper.
Yeah.
What's up with you?
You know you had all the gang members in the county jail singing your song.
Tell them your song, ID yourself, where you came from,
Well,
where
you
you
know,
going,
Pistol
where you
Grip Pump, you know, RCA, Immortal Records, Good Life Project, Glow.
I didn't see you hiding on all them tapes with Eric B and Rakim, man.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you know, this is, you know, we out here Cali representing my man, you know what I'm saying, he's doing it real big.
Yeah.
You know, gotta get this right here.
Kev Mac.
Official.
You up in there, that's right.
You know what I'm saying, gonna be worldwide in a minute.
If y'all don't know, that's information from the block. That's real info.
That's right.
It's not corporate, it's not watered down, it's the real deal, y'all.
You know what it is.
And we're gonna bring it to the East Coast.
Exactly. Right. You know, your niggas out there, stop snitching!
That's right.
How do you think gang culture in LA has shaped overall culture in LA?
Well, you gotta look at it like this. I was born a year before the Crips started. So all I know is LA culture, which is gang culture, or gang culture, which is LA culture. So that's all I know. So I don't know how it shaped LA. But what I do know is it's embedded in LA's culture.
What are some of the favorite interviews you've done?
My favorite interview is always my latest interview. Every time I do an interview, I feel like that's my favorite interview, or maybe the best interview. But I have to say, Bird from Slauson's, he has to be like probably my favorite guy, my most credible guy, the most knowledgeable guy, the most respectful guy, and the oldest guy. Bird knows his shit, and I love when he say he is LA. And see, what makes Bird unique, Bird mess with the Mexicans. And as you know, in LA, it's not a whole lot of black people that mess with Mexicans as much as Bird. Bird really fuck with the F-13s and the Ochentas, and being a counselor in the system, he's met and dealt with all kind of gangs made up of Hispanics and blacks.
AC has a lot of controversy behind some of his theories, but the more we find out, the more it looks like he might be right.
I mean, I think AC is right about everything he talks about. Because I'm going to tell you, just knowing AC, that's the type of guy AC is. If he don't know about something, he won't talk about it. If you want to know about certain individuals, he's not going to talk about those certain individuals, because AC is not going to express his opinion about somebody else or on a subject that he doesn't know much about. He's going to leave that up to you, or up to the viewer's interpretation of the subject or those particular individuals. So AC is definitely accurate on a lot of things he say, and I think a lot of people just hate AC for a lot of reasons. I mean, he was a Crip that became a Pyru, so they're going to hate that. They hate the fact that AC can expose a lot of people for switching sides. He can expose who was original Crips and turned Swan, or who was a Blood and turned Main Street, or who was a Figueroa boy which was anti-Crip and became Crip. He can expose Pyrus that were Crips. He can expose Crips that may have become Pyrus. So that's the problem with AC. And then, like, it's a lot of, you know, like I want to say, a lot of viewers are ignorant. They don't receive the information correctly. And so, like, you'll see in the comments, a lot of people say, see, AC said Pyrus was Crips. And then they'll say, well, AC didn't say Pyrus was Crips. But what he's saying, at least the way I interpret it, which I thought was very clear, AC saying there were individuals from Pyru Street, or that were Pyrus, that claimed Crip. Now, whether or not he's trying to keep from just throwing everybody under the bus, I don't know that. But he's not saying they were all Crips. That's not what he's saying. So some of the Pyrus are offended by AC coming over there and acting like he started Pyru, when that's not what he's saying. Because AC is saying there were Pyrus before him. There were older Pyrus on the block. AC is speaking of Pyrus in terms of the ones frontlining against the Crips. Compton Crips or Carver Park or whoever they were beefing with. And that's the extent of that in my view.
Do you feel some kind of vindication when information people are doubting later gets told again by somebody else?
There's always vindication in every interview, and the reason why is because, once again, you got haters from everywhere. You got haters from outside of the city, outside of the county, outside of the state, and you even have some outside of the country. So their opinion is really invalid in the first place, but it becomes valid because on social media you got people all over the world, in every country, every state, every city, every county, that's seeing these comments. And some people will believe them and some people won't believe them. But there's vindication when somebody verifies somebody else's story, because at the end of the day, it adds credibility to KM videos. And that's what we all about, is trying to get as close to the history, as close to the truth of the history that we can.
I know we've touched a little bit on Barefoot Pookie, but he's another guy who all these stories that people doubt just keep coming back as truth. Can we get a little bit more detail about him?
Barefoot Pookie is like a god in these streets. Now, I'm not saying people worship him. That's not what I'm saying at all. And I'm not asking nobody to worship him. But I put my trust in Barefoot Pookie because time and time again, the shit that he told me back in 11 or 12 years ago all turns out to be true. Like I said, I mean, if you know a motherfucker 12 years and all you can say is the only thing he was wrong about was starting 107 Block, I mean, come on, man. Now, anything else he may have said that's not true, I'm not aware of it. Man, he's like a real friend. He's somebody that I could call and tell my problems to. And Pookie know he could call me anytime. And I mean, he a real friend, man. So I'm going to value what he had to tell me regardless. See, like what I like about Pookie is if he can't answer a question for me, he'll tell me who can answer that question. He laid the foundation for me to be able to go back and say what was going on in 71 or 72. And what you got is like Melvin Hardy told me this. Melvin Hardy said, to be 100% truthful, the problem with Pookie's credibility lies within his relationship with Tookie. Because Tookie didn't like Barefoot Pookie. Because here you had some grown-ass men, meaning adults, 18, 19 years old. And then you have young-ass Barefoot Pookie, 14 and 15 years old. He can't even drink legally yet, right? You know, he don't have a driver's license yet or a state ID yet. And so Tookie didn't want to be running around with no teenager. Tookie didn't like that. And if you listen to all the interviews, everybody liked Tookie. Everybody took to Tookie.
A lot of people want a Big Rick interview. Are we going to see that?
Rick never said no to an interview, but Rick don't like to be on camera. Rick don't like the way he sound and the way he talk. You know, he a country dude. He come from the country. And he a big tough dude, so he never did a lot of talking. So he's not going to start now. But Big Rick's my big homie. I respect Rick to the fullest. Rick's a cool dude. You know, I'm going to tell you two things about Rick. It's really the same thing, though. This type of guy Rick is. When I got to prison, Rick told me, he said, man, I don't gangbang. He said, I don't hang with the 60s. He said, but if you have any problems on this yard, you better come get me, little homie, and I'm going to take care of it. And he wasn't bullshitting. Rick handled his business. Rick's solid, man. He for real solid. And the other thing, like I said, it's two things, but it's really one, is I fell on hard times financially, right? So I lost my house in Vegas. I moved from Windsor Hills. I'm staying down in the Harlems, right? And so I ain't had no car, no ride to get back to the hood every day. I'm like a hood rat. I'm always in the hood. Even when I'm not on the block, I'm still in the hood because all the addresses is in the hood, right? So Rick called me up, and Rick was like, yeah, Mac, you all right? I'm like, yeah, what's up? And I know, for real, you all right? I'm like, yeah, Rick, what's up? I'm thinking something happened, and I don't know about it. Rick like, you ain't been to the hood, man. I'm like, oh, shit, I ain't got no ride. Shit, y'all could pick me up. You can scoop me up, take me to the hood. So He told me, he said, man, if you got a problem in the hood, I got your back, man. He said, you know I'm here for you. And it be small things like that that I can appreciate. Now, that ain't got nothing to do with I get in some drama, go get Rick and get him in trouble, and he go back to prison and he paroled a lifer. No. It's the fact that he's hollering at me and trying to see if everything's all right with me and giving me reassurance that I got a real motherfucking friend.
How did it feel to get him and Caesar on the phone with each other?
Well, you know, the videotape I did wasn't the first time they talked to each other. Like, if you pay attention to what Caesar's saying, I'd already hooked them up. I hooked them up before Caesar came to LA to go to a funeral in the first place. And what happened was, you know, Caesar always talked about Big Rick being one of the main dudes from 60s, right? 60s deep, right? All these other dudes say they started 60s. But Caesar now, Sinbad, they worried about Big Rick. Big Rick is the guy they wanted. So I'm like, Big Rick, my partner. So I tell, when Rick get out, I tell Rick, you know I fuck with little Caesar. Of course, I'm verifying that Caesar is who Caesar say he is, right? And Big Rick verified that. And so I'm like, damn. I'm like, man, that's a trip how y'all was trying to kill each other. Y'all was really out there gunning for each other. And I fuck with both of y'all. And for whatever reason, I don't know if this is something that was already in Rick's body for years, or if it was when Rick seen how I approached him about Little Caesar, and I made it sound cool or something, acceptable. Rick said, oh, man, little homie, man, I feel bad about what I used to do to Little Caesar, man. I feel bad about how I used to bust on them Inglewood families, man. I wish I could apologize to him. I said, you ain't said nothing but a word. And so I hooked him up. And I mean, shit, when you got two real ones that was going at it with each other 3 or 4 decades ago, man, you'd be surprised at how much respect they have for each other and how much better they feel if they talk it out and can actually become friends with a guy that they grew up wanting to take his head off.
Now you just touched on something that we hear time and time again from your videos, the guys you talk to, is that they actually become friends with the old enemies. Why do you think that is?
Just growing up, man. You gotta figure, going through the system and the racial Mexicans out here in Southern California, there's always gonna be a time where we come together. Like, when you go to jail or prison, they separate you by race. Everything is done by race or you know, some type of racial group. And so you start to identify with your so-called enemy, your street rival. And so that shit carries into the streets, man. When you fighting back to back or shoulder to shoulder with an enemy, you no longer look at him as an enemy. So when you come home to the streets, you looking at dude that's supposed to be your enemy as your friend, whereas your friends that you probably didn't do no time with, you're not going to have that same respect for because y'all didn't put in work together. Y'all didn't go to the shoe or the hole together. Y'all didn't break bread and spread together. You know what I'm saying? So, especially when you come from a big hood, because you got all these different sections of the hood. Like in the 60s, you got the 5A60s, catwalk 60s, front hood avenue overhills, right? So, you may not have grew up or put in work or sat at a table with a guy from your neighborhood, but you go to jail or prison, and now you fucking with a bounty hunter. You fucking with a Mad Swan, an Inglewood family, neighborhood Pyro, Black Peace Stone, a Rolling 20, or something like that. And it's a whole new total respect thing that you have for your own.
How do you feel about Crips wearing red?
Well, here's the thing. My favorite color is royal blue. I'm a Dodger fan, right? Born and raised in LA before I was introduced to the color. So I wore whatever my mother put on me. My brother did the same. And a lot of other people in LA, same way. So red is a bright color, right? You was going to get killed for wearing red back in the day. I mean, that's not to say no Crips wasn't going to get killed. But I'm saying you could see a Crip and think he don't bang. Or like I said, you can see a blood and blue and think he a Crip or think he don't bang. But red, to wear a red hat or wear that red buckle to the side or to the back, or have on red shoestrings, or have a white t-shirt with the red t-shirt up under, or a red beanie hanging out your right back pocket. I mean, shit, you was playing with your life, man, and that's not to take away nothing from the Bloods and Perus, but that's just how LA was, and you was gonna be a target anytime you put red on.